In today's episode, we dive deep into the emotional battles that may come with fighting cancer. I'll share my personal experiences with suicidal thoughts, self harm, and the overwhelming feeling of isolation that can grip you during the darkest of times. We'll discuss what it feels like to lock yourself away, avoiding the world, and how those moments can make death seem more comforting than life in itself. This is a candid and a vulnerable conversation about the toll cancer takes not just on the body, but on the mind and spirit as well. Today's episode is very personal and heavy, but it's a conversation we need to have. It's about those late night battles, the weight of facing the same monster 5 times, and how dark thoughts creep in, even when you try to stay strong. I hope sharing my story sheds light on what someone like me goes through every single day, fighting an endless battle, trying to stay afloat despite the relentless waves. There are nights when I feel the exhaustion in my bones. I'm still fighting cancer for the 5th time. I lie awake, my back still bandaged, the wound open, raw, and hurting as it has been for over a year and a half now. Even today, I haven't slept lying on my back. A proper shower feels like a dream to me. Sponge baths, a frustrating reminder of everything I can't do. Sometimes all I want is a moment to feel whole, even if just for a few hours. People often come and say, stay strong. But what does that even mean? When your own mind starts plotting against you, when your own body betrays you. There's no manual for this. Nights turn into battlegrounds. I try to sleep, but I feel the sting of the dressing, the constant throbbing of an open wound. And then, like clockwork, the darkness of my thoughts begins to creep in, whispering things that scare me. There have been so many nights where the thoughts get louder, especially after the surgeries and chemo rounds that last 14 hours a day, 3 days straight, and 18 days in total. When chemo drips into your veins, a cold burn runs through you, draining your strength bit by bit. Hair falls, energy fades, and you're left staring at a stranger in the mirror. The face looking back at you seems hollow, lost, a shadow of the life you once knew. I remember thinking, why does it have to be this way? Sometimes I'd beg my mother to mix poison in my food, whispering words that I thought I'd never say out loud. I felt like life was mocking me, taking everything I loved and fought for one piece at a time. My career, my dreams, my cricket gear, all left behind in New Zealand as I was pulled back here to fight this battle. There are days I wonder, what's the point? Is this what my life is supposed to be? You see, I worked really hard. I landed my dream job in New Zealand, built a life there. Sports management was my calling. It was more than just work. It was my passion. And now, I'm back at square one with every saving, every rupee I set aside to settle down, drained by this disease. I can't help but wonder, is it fair to be someone who ran marathons, stayed fit, lived clean, only to have life knock me down like this? I question the universe every single time. Why? Why me? And as hard as I try to find answers, it feels like I'm left with more and more questions. The nights are generally the worst. The house falls silent, and I'm left alone with the echoes of my thoughts. At times, I feel like they are pulling me into a dark void. The thoughts get intense, convincing me that the ending it all might be the only way out. I hesitate to knock on my parents' doors at midnight. It feels awkward, almost childish at 32 to reach out. But those thoughts, they are powerful, overpowering. I know if I don't get up, if I don't force myself to reach for help, they could take control. So I knock, and even now when I feel the darkness creeping back, I still knock to this day. I reach out because in those moments, it's a matter of life and death. And even if it's hard, even if it makes me feel vulnerable, I've learned that it's okay to ask for help. Even today, at 32, it's still okay. And people who see me may not understand the pain of living like this, where every day is a question mark. Every step forward comes with the fear of falling back. And honestly, that's okay. Friends have told me that they struggle to find the right words, that they don't know how to reach out or what to say. I really get it. Seeing someone you know face such brutal realities isn't easy. How do you talk to someone who is fighting for their life? But it really does get lonely. My phone rarely rings these days. It's been ages. A few messages here and there, maybe once a week. I was always a people's person, loving to meet, to laugh, to connect new and old faces. But now I'm isolated not by choice, but by circumstances. And the world keeps moving, and it's understandable. as I myself would have struggled to talk to someone facing cancer, and this phase is leaving me to grapple with the emptiness. I still remember when I could run for hours and hours again, playing cricket with my friends, feel the sun on my face without a care in the world. Now, every moment reminds me of the limitations, the weight of what's happened. And the truth is, life feels like it's stuck while everyone else moves on. That isolation, it changes you, it makes you question the worth of it all, the meaning of everything. I sometimes wonder, am I just here to suffer? Is that my purpose? Because if so, then why? It's really hard to keep faith, to keep hoping when every step forward is met with another obstacle, another heartbreak. But despite it all, I know I can't give up. This life, as painful and unfair as it may feel, is still mine, and there's a fight left in me. You are not alone. You are not weak for feeling this way. It's okay to reach out, to knock on someone's door at midnight, to ask for help. Don't let the darkness convince you otherwise, I keep telling myself. Society often tells us that men shouldn't cry, that we shouldn't bear the pain in silence. But I'm here to tell you that's not strength. Strength is in opening up, in showing vulnerability, in seeing. I need help. I still struggle with those thoughts, still face those dark moments, but I've learned that reaching out is not a sign of weakness, it's survival. So, this battle isn't just about fighting cancer, it's about fighting the thoughts that cancer brings, the toll it takes on your spirit. And while I continue to battle through this phase of life, I face every single day as a new challenge. Every lump in my body, every pimple makes me anxious. Is it cancer again? Will this pain mean another fight? The anxiety wraps around me, making it hard to breathe, hard to think, hard to push forward. But I remind myself that this struggle is real, and I'm not going to hide it anymore from anyone. It's definitely a battle, a really, really tough one, but it's one worth fighting. I open up about my vulnerabilities because I know it's essential to share my journey, to let others see that it's okay not to be okay. The treatment often feels more torturous than the illness itself, and it goes on long, even after the treatment is over. With 5 recurrences under my belt now, it's been a disaster to come to terms with it mentally. All my hard earned money going for an illness for which there is no cause, and also for which I'm not responsible. And that too, I was able to accept it, but to spend it all and then for the cancer to recur again and again meant simply meaningless to the universe's ways and why question bothering me. Questions of why should I work for my goals or I should even have any goals because universe seems to be on a different page altogether. I remember my close friend telling me, please fight for us. Those words still echo in my heart, a reminder that I'm not alone in this fight. I fight for my friends and family who believe in me, who stand by me through this storm. That words from her keep me thinking about staying in the fight for my loved ones. But even in this struggle, I find myself hesitant to reach out. I feel inferior when friends check on me. I sometimes don't reply, not because I don't care, but because cancer makes me feel like I don't belong in the same space as everyone else. It's a heavy weight to bear, feeling isolated in a crowd, feeling like I'm fading away from the life I once knew. Yet, I want to say this to anyone out there struggling in life. It's okay to feel scared, to feel overwhelmed, but remember, kindness goes a long way. It's the small gestures, the reaching out, the checking in that can make a world of difference. Together, we can uplift each other, find strength in vulnerability, and fight against the darkness. So let's keep pushing forward. Let's keep hoping no matter how dark it gets. Let's choose to fight. Let's fight together. And remember, it's always best to seek help, to not let cancer win, to hold on to the light no matter how faint it may seem. There are times when the weight of everything feels too heavy. I find myself staring into darkness, feeling overwhelmed by the thoughts that pull me down. Sometimes I think about how easy it would have been to just end it all, to escape the pain that it brings. Those thoughts can be really scary. I feel trapped in a life where joy seems to disappear, replaced by constant worry and fear. In those moments, I fight against the urge to give up. I realize I need to fight in the way to push back against the darkness. I start writing my feelings down. Putting my pain on paper helps me understand what I'm going through and process it. It's a way to express myself instead of letting those thoughts take control. Each word becomes a step away from the edge, reminding me that I can still share my struggles. Through writing, I learned that these dark thoughts don't define me. They are just part of my journey. I discovered that being open about my feelings can lead to healing. Even now, I have tough days when the darkness feels close, but I try to breathe through it and hold on to hope that tomorrow can be better. It's all part of the struggle, learning to differentiate between what's real and what's just my mind spiraling. I often think about how cancer is different from other illness. The treatment can be more torturous than the illness itself. The scans, the tests, the side effects, the endless appointments, they all take a toll. After five recurrences, it feels like a relentless cycle that never truly ends. Even after treatment, the mental scars remain, and sometimes I feel like I'm still in the fight even when it's over. I may feel scared and alone, but I also feel a sense of responsibility to show that it's possible to fight back against those thoughts. I know I don't always feel like I belong. Cancer makes me feel like an outsider sometimes, like I'm not a part of this world I used to know. Meeting new people or replying to messages can be daunting. I worry that they see me differently now, like I'm defined by my illness, but I remind myself that I'm still me, I'm still the Saurabh, still capable of connections and love, no matter how tough things get. Remember, you have a right to be here, a right to fight for a better tomorrow. Life may be brutal, it may be unfair, but as long as we are here, we have a chance to change our story, to find meaning, even in the pain. I have locked myself in the room for months, this very same room, not wanting to see anyone, not even my parents or close friends. The thought of anyone stepping through the door sent me into a spiral of anxiety. I despised when someone came to visit me. Their attempts to bring comfort only highlighted my isolation. Each knock felt like a reminder of what I was missing out on, and I just wanted to disappear somewhere. Day in and day out, I spent my life hidden away in that room, surrounded by shadows of my own thoughts with an open wound, physical pain, fluid discharge from the wound site, even to this day, and time to time, the pain of the mental trauma. Each day was a battle. I was consumed by the feeling that life had turned into a constant battle against despair. After pouring so much effort and resources into my treatment, it felt like I was fighting a losing battle. Why was I being hit from every single side? Was it too much to ask for a little fairness in life? There were times I wondered if anyone else ever prayed for death. I can admit now that I have wished for it on my darkest days. I used to pray for my death when the thought of slipping away seemed more comforting than facing the overwhelming pain. I thought, what's the point of fighting when every day feels like an uphill struggle and I still get those thoughts? Those dark thoughts loomed large and the weight of them was suffocating. Yet, even as I grappled with those feelings, I knew I had to confront them, but there are times when I lose it and it comes and goes and I try to battle my inner demons. I recognized that this wasn't just a battle against cancer, it was also a battle against the demons that whispered, "You are not enough." It's frightening to feel so lost and vulnerable. I have moments when I still struggle with those thoughts, but I refuse to let them control me. I openly acknowledge that I'm still in this fight, navigating the waves of fear and uncertainty. Every lump in my body, every little ache sends a jolt of anxiety through me. I can't help but wonder, is this cancer again? And with each passing day, I strive to push back against those intrusive thoughts, reminding myself that it's okay to feel scared and overwhelmed. Today's podcast has been really heavy, but in the depths of my struggle with cancer, I have faced some of my darkest thoughts, including the urge to self harm. It's a topic that many find difficult to discuss, but I feel it's essential to shed light on it. When the pain feels unbearable and the weight of hopelessness presses down on me, the thought of hurting myself sometimes seems like a release, a way to externalize the internal chaos I feel. There have been moments when I found myself contemplating this path. Even to this day, it comes and goes. It was as if the physical pain could somehow provide a distraction from the emotional torment I was experiencing. In those fragile moments, I thought, if I can just feel something different, perhaps I can escape the relentless cycle of despair. It's definitely a dangerous illusion, one that can trap you in a spiral of shame and guilt. But as I sit here before you today, I realize that those thoughts don't define me. They are part of the complex landscape of my mental health journey. I acknowledge the darkness but refuse to let it dictate my actions or my worth. Every time I wrestle with the urge to harm myself, I remind myself that there is another way to cope, one that doesn't involve causing myself pain. I've learned to channel my feelings into other outlets, writing, art, or simply sharing my thoughts here with you. It's crucial to talk about these feelings openly because they can thrive in silence and isolation. Acknowledging the urge to self harm does not make me weak, it makes me simply human. I have come to understand that seeking help is a strength and not weakness. It's about reaching out for support I need to navigate these turbulent waters. When those dark thoughts creep in, they don't just linger, they envelop me like a thick fog that clouds my mind. There are times when I feel completely suffocated, as if I'm trapped in a room with no way out. In those moments, it's hard to breathe, hard to think clearly, a sense of suffocation. The whispers in my head grow louder and louder, convincing me that life is nothing but a relentless cycle of pain and disappointment. They tell me that death might be the only way to find peace, the only escape from the chaos that has consumed my existence. Have you ever felt like the walls are closing in around you? That's what it feels like when these thoughts take hold. They become a heavy weight on my chest, squeezing tighter with each passing second. I find myself questioning everything, including my worth, my purpose, and the very fabric of my existence and being. The darkness tried to convince me that there's no point in continuing the fight, that embracing death may be a relief from the suffering I endure daily. In those moments, I think about how peaceful it would have been to simply let go, to silence the noise that rattles the mind. I can recall sitting in silence, staring at the ceiling, wishing for an end, believing that maybe, just maybe, not waking up would be a kinder fate than enduring another day of despair. There were days I wished for death to come not because I wanted to die, but because it felt like a comforting embrace, a release from the overwhelming heaviness of it all. But here's where the struggle lies. Despite the suffocating grip of those thoughts, I fight back. I remind myself that those feelings don't reflect the reality of my life. They are a distortion, a trick played by my mind when it's at its lowest. I push against the tide of despair, searching for the glimmers of hope that still exist within me. Each time I confront those thoughts, it becomes an act of rebellion against the narrative that insists death is the better option. I realize now that it's okay to feel trapped, to feel like darkness is closing in on me. What matters is how I respond. I chose to learn how my vulnerability should be handled. I express my pain through words, sharing my struggles and opening up about those moments when life feels unbearable. Each time I do, I reclaim a bit of my power. The reality is that life is messy and unpredictable. It's filled with battles that often feel unsurmountable. But through all the turmoil, I hold on to the belief that I'm worth the fight. Even when death seems like a tempting escape, I remind myself that there's still so much to explore, so much to live for in this life. I have mainly realized that seeking help is very crucial. It's not weakness, it's a step forward towards healing. It's about allowing myself to be seen in my vulnerability rather than hiding in that room. Life can be excruciatingly tough, but as long as I'm breathing, I have a chance to rewrite my story. And while I fight, I carry the strength of those who believe in me, my friends and family. I will fight for them, and I will fight for all those who support me. So here I am, sharing my truth. If you are someone feeling lost, isolated, or overwhelmed, please know you're not alone. It's okay to struggle, to wish for an end, and to not have it all figured out, but together we can choose to keep fighting, to keep finding meaningful meanings amidst the pain. Thank you for your patience and listening to my side of the story. See you soon in our next episode. Until then, keep smiling and together we shall win all the battles and make this world a kind and a better place to live. Thank you and have a wonderful day.